Everyone. Today we are going to have a webinar about legacy, especially about hidden traps in legacy modernization, and especially about what can go wrong in such modernization. For those who don't know me, I am Matt. I'm a tech evangelist at 𝗵𝗶𝗸𝗲, and today I'm pleased to welcome Benedykt, our head of engineering. Hello, Benedykt. Could you add something from you?
Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Benedykt, as Mateusz mentioned, and I'm head of engineering at 𝗵𝗶𝗸𝗲. I'm an IT guy with several years of experience in the IT. I went to software houses, product companies, some big corporations. So I saw a lot. So this time I will try to share my experience related to that with you. Nice to see you all.
Okay, thank you. Today we are going to cover a topic about legacy, which is quite a big, broad one. And today we are going to focus mainly on part about what can go wrong and what you should look after and make sure that everything will go okay with such a modernization. You can ask questions on our chat. We will answer them if possible during this webinar. If not, at the end, it is expected to have Q&A session. So for sure, we'll try to cover all the questions that will appear. And with no further ado, I think that we can just start. And I have always the same question about legacy at the very beginning. Probably you will know as this question is related to your opinion about legacy. So in fact, what is legacy in your opinion?
So legacy, in my opinion, is there is a simple definition. Like legacy software is when the software was made to serve a particular purpose, to save some time, to automate some things, and from some reasons it started becoming a bottleneck, and in fact it's serving a purpose and actually slowing down people. Or yeah, basically that's it. Because the next thing I was trying to mention is about reasons why it can slow down us. It's because maintenance. It's because it's bloated. It's because we had so much features and we got lost in the number of features. We have the cognitive bias when we are just coming to the application is overwhelming us, and we cannot find the best path to use the interface. There are a number of reasons, but actually the main definition for me is the legacy is not the old application. It's not. It shouldn't be measured in the years, or shouldn't be measured in the technology. As long as it serves its purpose, that's totally fine. The legacy is the application which stopped helping us, and start becoming an issue.
Yeah, it's very, very close to my definition, that as I really like to define it as a change that we struggle to do, whatever it's related to business or technical side. Usually it's been that together. So yeah, it's in short, legacy is something that we have to deal with, and it's not easy. You've mentioned about many reasons why it may become a problem. But in your opinion, which one is the biggest one, or the biggest one just to consider it at the very start of modernization?
A very interesting question, the tricky one. I don't have a single answer to that. The most important the most important factor for legacy apps and following decision about the modernization of them is when it's influencing business, because we are building software to save the money or produce the money, and for the money is not it shouldn't be a single factor of making applications, and modernization as well. However, we need to remember, especially right now, when the market is changing, we need to remember about about the business, about the money, which is coming from the business, and focus on that. So the biggest factor influencing the tech debt legacy and how we are handling that is when software is not helping us, is blocking us from making a money. And by money, I mean these can be being safe with the business is like earning tokens for future when we want to do something bigger, something better, some creative work, some research and development, and so on. So it's not like I'm 100% focused on just let's focus on money and let's focus on business. I'm focused on giving credits to engineering team to make something better. However, we should keep in mind that we are building this application, this particular software, piece of software for someone who wants to invest for it, and he is investing in that software because of some reasons. At the end, he wants to make this investment back in the shape of the actual business and the money.
Yeah, exactly. It's very related to business value, as there is no point making some modernization if it doesn't bring new features or quality itself, if it's needed to just make developing a little bit easier. Do you have in mind maybe the biggest fail in such a modernization in your lifetime, and you have some thoughts about it?
Yeah, let's start from the beginning. Why that legacy as modernization can be a failure? There is a number of reasons. I heard about this famous failures regarding the actual legacy apps modernization, but from my perspective, the easiest way to fail with the modernization is when we don't really know how to measure if it's a success, or how we define a success, like when the modernization isn't a failure, like when we are going toward the proper direction. Is the app faster? Users are more happy? We are saving more money. The maintenance is easier. If we are not trying to negotiate with the stakeholders what is actually a success, that is the biggest problem at the very beginning of the decision of doing this legacy software modernization, right? I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, I totally agree. As I have some case in my past that we're just doing a modernization without any business need. It was like we had too much time, and I think that's sometimes one of the reasons why legacy modernization may fail when the developer has too much time, as we did an architectural change without any reason, business reason, and when it go live, it appeared to be just broken. And of course, we can just ask ourselves what was the business value that we gave? None. Basically, there was only cost. And just modernizing a legacy without understanding client's vision, without understanding why we are just going to modernize something that is working actually, may just cause many problems. Especially we are changing something that already works properly, and we need to really understand just how to provide modernization without breaking anything that already is working. My very next question to you is like when we just should consider modernizations in legacy, do you see any particular criteria when we should just jump into a legacy modernization, and how to plan it?
And so again, my perspective is that we should, maybe from the beginning, to my career, I never ever met a software which isn't broken in some way. There's always a problem. There's always a problem with legacy technologies, architecture, the growing number of users, which it's making their resources utilization painful. There's always something to fix in our software we are working with. Never mind if it's the greenfield project, if it's something which 10 years old, there is always something to fix. The thing is that we need to ask stakeholders first if it's really needed. Like, I could change a tons of code in my code base, but if it works and there is no business justification, it's always hard, because sometimes we are seeing the code base and we are like, oh, okay, we need to change this because maintenance of this code will be very painful. Yes, that's right. But how many times we will change this part of code right now? Maybe we can negotiate just adding more documentation. Maybe we can do some notes regarding how it works. Like, yeah, it's broken, but it works to some degree. So if we are familiar with this issue and it's not blocking us from developing the rest of application, perhaps it's great to just focus on something else. So my main factor for deciding about this migration, modernization of the legacy software is when we are asking stakeholders about the business justification for that, and they are like, yeah, we will save that it will save a tons of time, a tons of resources, and so on. It should always come, maybe not come from top to the bottom. It can be the bottom to the top, but we should negotiate with stakeholders, make the business familiar with our decision about modernizing it. Actually, you mentioned that failure case, and it's related to this answer. Actually, if you want to prove yourself, but actually also the business, that modernization is needed, measure everything, and just try to prove that this will save some time and this will save some resources. Measure everything you can to prove that this decision was right, and also to start to kick off this modernization and know you are going to the right direction. As I mentioned, it can be something which is not really measurable 100%. It can be user satisfaction, but we have a tons of tools which can also measure how user behave on your application. So even if we are just checking if the time for some actions on our application is shortening, we can check that. We should start measuring, then we should make this decision about deciding that this is legacy, that this is not maintainable, we need to change it. And then we are going to the business with the infamous spreadsheets and showing everything in numbers. Okay, this will change a lot for us, and I will calculate it for you.
Yeah, it's very important, as we mentioned a lot, that this decision has to be justified. And when we spoke about success criteria of basically modernization, we already know what is the actual reason. When there is no reason, probably there is no point in changing some part of application. That's why I consider a legacy as a very contextual thing. It's not like, let's say, here is a bad quality code, so it means it's legacy. No, it's not legacy until we need to change it. When there is just a business need that we have to change it, whether we change code because we like good quality, and that's the only reason. There is no point, basically, because we have to deliver a value to the client. So it has to be justified. And you've said a lot about measuring. I guess that we can also jump into some kind of estimations. Do you see any traps related to measuring, estimating such changes, and basically jumping into modernization?
Yeah, so the one risk I think is to think about sunk costs and to decide that the approach we took to modernizing our application was the wrong way. That was a bad decision. Like, hey, we need to abandon that. That's why I'm a big fan of making some POCs, and I'm a big fan of struggle pattern and verifying on the small chunks of the application. When we are rewriting a small module, when we are adding a new one, we are trying to find a new approach for CI/CD technologies, generally stack you selected, and you're starting agreeing together with the old stack. This is a good way to start small, to prove that it's a good direction, and also to decide like, hey, we thought that it would work fine. However, it's becoming, we can say it doesn't work like we expected. So at the very beginning, there is a signal for you that maybe that was not a good idea. Maybe we should change it, should change approach, should just abandon this modernization, should find another solution. Don't go blindly with this modernization just because we selected a new technology and it's modern and it should be faster, but it's because of the several reasons, like developer experience even, it's not a good path, and we should abandon it. That's the main risk for me. Modernization, like going full in with the modernization when at the same time we are seeing that this approach, maybe in general, this decision wasn't a good choice.
Yeah, what comes to my mind is basically a situation when there was next business change to the existing modernization. We should remember that applications are just living creatures, as the same as market, and sometimes clients may change business requirements and even make legacy modernization no longer it doesn't make more sense right now, as sometimes it's like this legacy may be a thing that is not worth it, or we should focus on something else. It sometimes may fail in this way, and we should remember that as business is changing, and we should just go agile way. We should also just be concerned that there are some changes that we should provide in such a modernization, but then we sometimes do not finish it because we need to jump or modernize it in the other way. So sometimes even the success criteria will change, and it's of course impacting legacy modernization. It's not the end of the modernization for sure, but it's not like it's the same thing from the very beginning of modernization to the end of the modernization. And basically, what Benedykt said is he likes a struggle pattern. And my very next question is related. Is a big migration always a risk? It's like we should always go step by step, or is there any case that we can just organize a very big migration, big application, big environment, and make it like in a waterfall way? Do you expect it to work? It may also concern, for example, changing technology stack or any kind of solutions.
My perspective, what I was trying to say is that I actually saw, and I was experiencing a few failures regarding the legacy migrations, and always it comes to a few things, but the first thing is that there is no clear roadmap vision and really strict enforcement regarding the timeline on how we want to migrate actually this and that module. And it should be, if we are deciding to do the modernization, it should come along with the other business goals. So the one software piece of software which I'm really unhappy with is the tool which a huge application which was written in the really old, maybe not that old, but really unusual software. It was CanJS, and we decided that the CanJS is like, it was the AngularJS one, Angular one, and jQuery, sorry for that, but jQuery mix. And we decided to rewrite it to React. We did an approach related to some micro frontends, maybe some kind of front-end strangler pattern when we are just adding a new modules for the application with the React, and we are also rewriting the other part to React as well. So at some point, we focused that much on the business goals, the other business goals, that we just literally stopped rewriting the previous part of application, and we been left with the two versions of application and some weird bus, an event bus, which just distributing the events between our frames. And we never finished migrating this old application, and the maintenance became a nightmare. I would rather go with jQuery and CanJS and this Angular stuff than just maintain these two applications, even if the second one was written in the modern stack with React and so on. So the one thing is to understand that the migration should be a business goal and should be prioritized as well, along with all the things like fixing bugs on the current application, adding new features to the new or the whole application. It should be a business goal. It should be considered as that when planning a roadmap for the software development.
Yeah, for sure that's very important to just to understand the business side, and then provide to understand basically and provide the roadmap, plan it. We're talking a lot about business side, and for sure it's the most, probably the most significant factor in legacy app modernization. But I have to ask if you see any risks in technology itself. Basically, do you have any cases or just some kind of factors that may just show you that there is probably a risk in just modernization, not related to business requirements? Let's agree that we know business vision and so on, but you just have to jump into code, audit it, and provide changes. Do you see any risk there?
Yes, I often see that pattern when we as a software engineers, not the 𝗵𝗵𝗁 company itself, but we as software engineers tend to consider a new kids on the block as better software. Like, there is a new technology and it's so new that we actually we don't really know about shortcomings of this technology. We are instantly having a buy-in regarding how it might solve our problems, not thinking about potential issues which can become a bottleneck later. So there is always this feeling that the new thing which came to React, Next.js, Remix, everything as is better than what we actually have right now, because this is marketing vibe created by each of the particles, of not maybe particle like Next.js or Remix. We need to remember that each and every software and a library and technology have some pros and cons, and just simply rewriting the old stuff, like 5-6 years old software or even 10 years old, to the new stack won't magically solve our problems. Just going from on-premise to the cloud solution won't simply solve all issues. And even if it will solve all issues we have right now, it can produce a new one. It can be like resources utilization can be more manageable, but it won't be cheaper. So we will spend more money on the cloud solution, even if it was if we don't really use these resources on our side. We don't need DevOps team. We are delegating this work to some AWS architects, and in that case, we need to check if it's really solving my problem. Yes, we are not spending the money in that place, but we're just moving it somewhere else. The biggest risk in that case for me is just instantly having a buy-in on a new technology and simply going towards modernization. In that case, as I mentioned, we are just producing, potentially we can produce another problem solving current issues.
Yeah, and detecting whether this technical change will improve the generally speak business value of client. It has to really be considered and calculated whether it's worth it. I see hypes as the main risks of modernization, because sometimes someone jumps into a project, says there is a new technology, let's use it. Okay, but why it's worth it, basically? And I've seen many hypes over the years. Nowadays, it's, for example, nowadays, for example, artificial intelligence, which of course is very, very, very good product itself, and it may solve many classes of problems, but it's not for everything. It's not like we can just solve each application using AI. Probably there are really few ones that really need it. And over the years, were many things like even machine learning and so on, but sometimes even technologies. So there is some kind, let's say there is a new React, and everyone wants to change it. Yeah, but still the question is, should we? Is it worth? How we can calculate a success metric, whether it was worth it modernizing the entire application to the new technology, whether there is just a profit in it. You've said something. I stopped you. I don't know whether.
That's fine. Like I'm a big fan of the 𝗬𝗲𝗲. 𝗬𝗲𝗲 is a Twitter guy who is living in Poland. I believe he's Estonian or Macedonian. I believe Macedonian guy, and it's a bit of simplification, but he's saying something like, especially in the web development, we are coming through hype cycles, and we are still just moving rectangles around the screen, and we should focus on the business value more rather than the software itself. Software is rarely a bottleneck, and it's a surprising conclusion from my perspective after the bit of the discussion here. When I'm thinking about it, is just that legacy application modernization should be a rare event. It shouldn't occur very often, and you should justify this decision heavily and should be prepared for that. Should have a great timeline. The process itself, the process of software development, is strictly related, like the culture in your organization culture and hygiene in your process is very important factor for succeeding in the legacy modernization. And because of that, the decision about modernizing software, going into it should be very rare and careful decision, and it should happen often, because in most cases, as we are discussing it, this is not the biggest problems itself. Like software isn't the main bottleneck. Maybe it's knowledge sharing among the team. Maybe it's something about documentation, automated or not manual one. Maybe it's something about the hygiene of work of the engineering team or management team. And when we will fix all of these things around the software, then we should say, hey, we still have some issues. We are doing everything around in the best way we can, that we have still an issue. Maybe it's time to focus on the software. And also, it's great because you can't produce a good software when the flow in your company is broken, when there is a management issue on several levels, when your engineering team isn't ready for that they don't have really good hygiene regarding how they work, how they are documenting the stuff, how they're producing architecture decision records, how they are making a story behind some technological choices and all the decisions. When your company and processes inside this company works great, then you should look into the problems in software itself. Also because you want to produce good software when your company is internally maybe not broken, but have some issues. I believe it's somehow related to maybe not directly to the Conway law. I don't know if you know something about it, but yeah, if you can, probably you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, Conway's law is one of my favorite ones. Yeah, basically speaking, it's like any communication processes in organization will be just reflected in a code base. So that's the in short, Conway's law in case of code development, software development. Yeah, and this is exactly what Benedykt mentioned. It's like when something is broken with communication in organization, it probably will be also reflected in a code base. And there are many factors that may show that maybe not from the mistakes in modernization, but sometimes you have splitted teams, that there are splitted code bases, and when you have one team that is managing entire application, there is monorepo. It's quite natural, but it will show just how sometimes communication in an organization, as well as the communication with the client, may reflect what happens in code base. When there is not a well-defined vision of our client or business criteria of what we are doing, it will be reflected in code base because it was not well-defined. There is something, probably it's somewhat how working, but we are not sure about it. But we already know that the problem is also in a code base as well. Of course, there is this tech side that developers also need to be worried about maintenance and how to write properly code. One of my favorite principles saying how we should develop code base is basically open-close principle. We should write code in such a way that what we already had written, it's closed. We should not change it. Basically. And every new feature should be just a new code. It's the best case scenario. Of course, it's not working that way. It's like if we made a mistake and badly designed something, or client changes his product's vision, probably we need to change this old code, and then it's basically a legacy. But in the best case, it should really happen. What Benedykt mentioned, it's like I don't believe that legacy is needed very often. Of course, that there are some steps in product development that something is not working that we want, not working like we want to. For example, I don't know, there's just lack of performance on an application. Yes, we need to change it. How? Let's figure it out. Yeah, but this is still the business requirement that we need to cover. It's not like code is that by itself. And it leads me to the question about team's experience, as I believe that this may also become a problem in terms of modernization. How do you see a team composition regarding modernization? Is it like there have to be experts that will just modernize such a big application? Of course, because they have basically know how to do it. Or is it like this knowledge can be spread in a team and juniors or regulars as well can modernize software? How do you see just this aspect of team experience?
Yeah, so talking about team composition, I can see two approaches. From the software engineer's perspective, there are people who are very happy with staying with what is currently created, and they just want to work with the known code base, even if it's a bit broken. This is the code base. This is the main focus for them. There are also engineers who are very happy to try something new, very happy to produce a new technology, and to use a new technology to produce a new software. And we should keep them both. We should try to mix the team with the experienced guys who are really aware of the old legacy stack, if it's possible, obviously. And also add some people who are experienced, and they will carefully select the best approach for our modernization, and they will implement it fluently. And because of that, I'm a bit afraid of putting not that experienced engineers into the team, which wants to produce this, which want to make this modernization, just because modernizing software the right way requires a lot of experience. And why? It's because we are mostly talking during this webinar about actually failures. The failures is the lessons we learned the most. Like if someone is producing a good software, we are just like, yeah, this is how it looks like. Like, yeah, that's fine. That this is a great piece of software because we did that as we should. And no one is mentioning very often about these failures. People should talk more about failures, and we should compose team with a bunch of engineers experienced with the failures, with the legacy apps modernization. That they are the first thing that they saw a lot. They are aware of the approaches which works for them, and they saw the approaches which are not really the approaches which been a wrong path for them, wrong way. And also they probably know how to talk with stakeholders. They probably know how to explain to them that actually the team is working like 1 month with the module. We're rewriting it, and from the business perspective, nothing has changed. Like, yes, nothing has changed. UI stays the same. It might look a bit different, but it's actually the software under the hood is completely rewritten, and we should keep in the team people who are able to explain to the business what happened under the hood, why we are rewriting it, and what is the advantage of the new software versus the old one.
Yeah, and I believe that I've just asked whether this team should be composed with seniors or juniors. I believe that, of course, it has to be both. But the reason is basically that both sides are learning, and this is just a good mixture of all the new of experience and some new ideas. Juniors themselves are like they're gonna change everything. They are just not aware of that. I really like one programming law that Donald Knuth many years ago defined as premature optimization is the root of all evil. There is only cost, and this is something that juniors has to learn, and that's why seniors will just teach them. They show their experience why okay, there is if statement. Don't change it to strategy pattern because there is no point. Why are you changing? It's like sometimes people without experience don't see that if something works and we don't have to change it, we just don't change it because there's no reason. There's no business value in it. It's probably cost because we have to test it. We have to make sure that it still covers all the business criteria and so on. So for sure, it's just a good composition that both sides can learn from themselves. Do you see any, let's say, pro tips for developers about legacy modernization that can use in their future? It can be, of course, something that you should look after, or just how to approach such modernizations the best way.
Question everything and measure everything. Like maybe not question, challenge every decision. This is actually coming to my mind when I'm developing a new software. Challenging everything, challenging all decisions is good, but also we need to be specifically careful when modernizing applications, modernizing legacy software, because of the reasons I mentioned previously, and I keep repeating myself. From the business perspective, when we are modernizing software, we are usually not changing anything from the business perspective. The UI stays the same. Like there is a tons of things happening under the hood, which is improving any area which was the factor for this modernization. So we should measure everything to always prove that it was worth going into this approach, and also challenge everything especially from the software, the technology selection, library selection approach section. From this perspective, we should always challenge everything. There's no bad question, improper question when the technology team software team is gathering and trying to discuss any approach. We should always focus on not only happy paths, the bad paths, the good and ugly, the ugly parts of the particular software technology library should be emphasized. We should ask a lot of times question like, what can go wrong? What can go wrong, and how we can prevent that. So challenging everything, questioning everything regarding the technology selection, the technology choices we are doing during the legacy app modernization. When we are trying to use stronger pattern, we think that this interconnection between two apps will work fine. Let's do the POC. Let's try to invest some time thinking of how it might be broken at scale, challenge it, and then start modernizing software. And also, as I mentioned, measure everything you can compare it to the previous measures, and prove that actually your modernization is a success. Just it shouldn't just look like it's success. You should prove it. You should have this spreadsheet uh, highlighted with the green color because of some reasons.
Yeah, exactly. I would sum up it with just a conclusion, like you should always start with why you are changing it, where is the benefit of this change. When there is none, you should not change any code. And I think that's the best the best question at the start of modernization. And then the rest is like just defining criteria, making roadmap, planning, and so on. But we should always start with understanding why this change is required. Usually it's from the business perspective, even performance can be a business perspective because something is working slow. At the end,
Yes.
Everything is just from this business side, actually. It's not like we need to change code because of a tech side. Let's make it better, of better quality. It's like, yeah, but does it give anything to you? Okay, so if you can justify it, for example, because we need to develop feature A, B, and C, and we just need these changes, okay, it's for sure discussable. But if there is like, it will look nice, no, never do that because it's just not worth it. I've made it once and it costed too much. And you should never do just modernization without actually defining why you are doing it. Okay, we've covered lots. Yeah, we've covered.
As a final word, I remember this anecdote. I don't remember. I saw it somewhere on Reddit when the guy was working on the company, software house company, and one guy like came to him and he asked about a new software. Can he produce a new software for him? Because the old one looks like a bit broken. And he said like, yeah, okay. What is this? What is the kind of software? And they had a big troubles coming to an agreement of how it actually written and so on. So he came to his shop, manufacturer or repair shop. I don't know what was that. And he realized that this guy is running his company through the 25 years or more, 30, on the software written for Amiga. And this Amiga machine, Amiga 500 or 600, was running all the time through decades. From his perspective, it just works. Like, yeah, right now it's a bit broken because something is broken on this machine and no one wants to repair it and say it's really old one. So maybe you can rewrite the software. He was like, yeah, how it's even possible that you're still using it? And he was like, well, it works. At least it worked for 30 years. Why should I change that? This is a good, I believe, summary of our discussion, and I really want to find it right now, but there's no chance I will find it easily. But there's a great anecdote from my perspective, which is summarizing our discussion regarding modernization of the legacy apps and reasoning behind it, and goals we should set when we are talking with stakeholders about why we want to change it. Like, can we imagine that this is actually the guy who is owning the company and he's running his software on this Amiga, and it works for him for 30 years. It's not even like I'm talking about COBOL mainframes when the bug is running on it. I'm talking about simple solution for single company written 30 years ago, which just works for someone. We should remember this anecdote every time we are talking about legacy apps modernization. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree a lot. Somehow it just reminds me about one of the simplest principles in programming: keep it simple, stupid. And I think it's very, very, very also usable in terms of modernization. Just make it as simple as possible. If there it's not needed, just don't do it. It's just a code base. It just has to work. If it works, leave it. We know that there are new technologies, we knew there are new hypes, ways of doing software, but if it solves a business problem of client, it's fine. It's still fine, and we should never change it. Yeah, we covered the topic of legacy from many aspects, many sides. I think that we started that you should always remember about the why we are changing a code, that there has to be a business reason behind that. Of course, there are many other aspects, as well as just how you should migrate, whether doing it step by step, strangler pattern, don't falling into hypes. They are not generally wrong, but you should always consider whether they are worth it introducing or not. You should be aware about risks that they are taking. And of course, there is always an aspect of the team experience and just putting new hypes into projects, new ideas versus experience, and just understanding why we are doing modernizations, and let's do it as simple as possible, as there is less cost and much way more benefit.
Amen.
Okay. Amen. Exactly. I think that that's all. I think that we can just end our conversation there. Of course, there is a chat for you all to ask questions if you have any. And so, yeah, if you have a question, let's go. We'll wait a little bit. But if there is none, I think that we can just thank you. We believe that we just gave you many insights how we can just see legacy, modernization, where are possible failures that you should always consider in terms of planning modernization. Of course, starting with understanding why you are changing it and ending on the experience of your team. And I believe that we can change, that we can stop here this conversation. Benedykt, thank you very much for today. Thank you and see you. Bye, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.